Hello, everyone. It's Katrin with Blend Precisely and Blend Precisely Academy. Today is April 13th, and that means Tax Day is tomorrow. And I'm sure we might not have a lot of people coming online today because everybody is scrambling the day before Tax Day. But we will record this video as usual at this live, and then you also will receive an email if you're on our email list. And then we can make sure that you actually, sorry, you can make sure that you actually can watch it or re-watch it after we are even live here right now. So I know that tax season is always a scary big thing for everyone, especially when you're actually self-employed. So I'm sure that, and I hope for you that you have some kind of a good bookkeeping system, a good tax advisor, maybe for your small business. I can't emphasize enough how important it actually is to have someone that can help you, especially in the first few phases of your small business. So having a bookkeeping system, I use QuickBooks, for example, for employees, for entrepreneurs, the small business version, and it helped me tremendously, actually keeping everything up to date. So that makes tax season, of course, less of a headache than I had those years where I just was scrambling to get my taxes done and hoping that I will get a tax return or something, at least for, you know how it is for small business owner. You always hope for the best. Hello, Jean. Yeah, so today I wanted to come to you because I have a process on how I launch my products, and I've been doing a lot of different products. I've been doing in the past I was in the textile industry and did a lot of launches there, and also a lot of production and a lot of products I've been selling, moving over to the essential oil and aromatherapy consultation, everything else in terms of production and products, selling them on markets. So there was always a lot going on. But then I'm also now in the digital world where I've been since 4 years now selling courses and workshops, doing workshops online, um, and also doing digital products and the software, obviously. But all in all, it's pretty much the same process. No matter what kind of product you go live or launch with, you want to have some kind of a launch strategy. And I'm saying that with keeping in mind that I only launch a few products. I learned from the past, and that was where I launched like a lot of different. Oops, did I just a second? No, you can still hear me, right? Can you still hear me? Something is going on with my Wi-Fi, I think. I hope it's still okay. Anyway, so in the past, what my strategy was that I was launching too many products. So I had a line of products and I had a lot of different patterns for each of the products. And that ended up in a huge amount of work. And I was not focusing anymore so much on how to sell. There was no time for selling and marketing as much as I wanted it to be because I had just way too many products I was offering. And on top of that, if you have a lot of products, you're also scrambling always to find the best price point for each product because you might have 10 milliliter bottles, or let's say ounces now. So 1 ounce, 2 ounce, then you have big PET containers, then you need different labels. So you need a lot more material with a lot of products. So I scaled completely back from launching a lot of products during 1 year, for example. What I did like to do and still like to do is focus on a few products. I have always like this one product which is my hero product, I call it, and then the other products are basically products with which work with the hero product. Meaning, if you, for example, have like a facial serum and it's a really nice one and you like it, and you add maybe like a lip scrub to it, and you have maybe a neck lotion with it, so something like this. So everything is going out and in. I'm so sorry, I don't know what's going on today. We do have rain here, and the rain affects always everything. Let me put my light back on. There you go. So So when you have like a few products, it's just way more easy to manage, in my opinion. Now, I know that we love creating products and we like to put a lot of products out. But if I see a huge product line, I always wonder which of the products should I really keep in my product line and which ones should I maybe get rid of, because you maybe sell it only once or twice a month. You probably want to have products and focus on the ones that make you money, A, but B, also sell really well. But it's always a little bit of a juggle game. So I have, should I keep it like this? I have a launch strategy that I go through with every product launch I do. And I'm going to share that one with you. But I also will share this in my blog so you can just read it again. So the 11 steps I go through is pretty much depending what I'm going to launch. So a product launch for me can take anywhere between 4 weeks and 3 months. And that is depending if I, for example, just create a lip balm, which is easy to create, or if I maybe create an entire kit. For Christmas, for example, you might have a gift kit you create and you put a lot of effort into this gift kit. That might take up to 3 months for me. So that's always just, the caveat. It's what I experience, it's what I do, and I just want to share it with you. And I would love to hear everyone else how they do their product launches. So, A, I scaled back and I only do a few products a year. B, I make sure that I have ample time or enough time really to launch the product. I give myself enough time to launch the product. So anywhere between 4 weeks and 3 months. If it's a digital product with videos and all of this can take sometimes even 3 to 4 months. So that is a different product. But if you're just on the product side, meaning creating a product, selling it in the market on your e-commerce store, on Etsy, anywhere, on Facebook, wherever you are, then I would always consider 4 weeks to 3 months. And the very first thing you want to make sure, of course, is that the product you're selling or you're about to create is going to fulfill the needs your customer wants. So you don't want to bring out a product and nobody buys it. Hi, Sylvia. Nice to see you. Hello. So bringing out a product your customer doesn't want and need will end up in no sales. So the very first step, I always want to make sure that either you got maybe an inspiration on somewhere on the internet. Maybe you got an inspiration from one of your group members, your formulator friends, your aromatherapist friends. Maybe you got the idea because a customer came to you and repeatedly asked for something, or multiple customers came to you and asked for always the same thing. Do you have a pain relief? Do you have a lip balm? Do you have a scrub? Do you have this? So if something comes up over and over again, you might want to start thinking about creating this product. So you definitely want to only start creating a product or create a product that is actually wanted by the market. I've gotten very, very firm with what I create. If it's not wanted, I'm not going to create it. Even so, maybe I really love to create it. I mean, I always have products I love to create. Who doesn't in this industry? But I use products or I create products that they want. That's step number one. Step number two for me is that I need to also enjoy creating the product. So that's a big one for me. I don't want to create 10, 50, 100 products of the same thing over and over again. And I don't actually enjoy the process. So you should be thinking of that maybe when you think about creating the product. I'm not a big fan of creating lip balms, for example. So for me, creating a lip balm is something which is easy, but I don't enjoy the process because I always want to have it perfect on the top. Sometimes it's not enough, sometimes too much. Then the beeswax in it dries up too quickly. So I've got my issues, the labels, so I don't like to create lip balms. And I don't think I would necessarily put them ever back into my product offerings. That's just an example. And they are quick sales. Sylvia, you love creating lip balms. See, this is so different. And what do you enjoy about the process? It's just for me, just to find the right labels. They are all good now. I found them, but there's just something, I don't know. I don't know. And the price needs to be fairly high in order to make it all worthwhile, and you can get lip balms fairly cheap now on the market, and lots of people don't value it enough. And yeah, so for me not, but Sylvia loves it, so that's good. So step number 2, you should really love creating it, and that is important just for your own enjoyment of creating this product. So the next step is, when I found the product, or I know which product I'm supposed to do, then I actually love to research my raw materials first. And let me just get the cat out. Just 1 second. It's open. I know it's unusual for life to get up, but here I am. I've got animals and they wanted to get out. So resourcing my materials first. So I don't even start creating, unless I have the materials at home, I start experimenting. But if I don't have the materials at home, I research the prices first. I research the materials first. And what I'm after is that I can either buy it in bulk, so I can lower my price, or I can actually buy it, basically, making sure that it's not from that it's from sustainable sources for the right price, that it's organic. So I have like a whole list I go through how my products or my raw ingredients need to look like. So I do my research. That's step number 3. I do my research first on my prices, what I can probably sell them for. I plug everything into Blend Precisely. I look how I can sell the product, for what price, what the costs are, what my profit could be. And then I make a decision to either purchase a small amount to make 5 to 10 products, or I will not make the product if it's not feasible. There are some incredibly beautiful raw materials, but they are so expensive that it's not worthwhile to bring them onto the market unless you have a high-end market and you can sell them for the high price. So step number 3, before actually making, unless I have the ingredients at home, but before even making it, I do research my prices. And then I buy a small amount, testing the quality and making sure that I can purchase the product or the raw ingredients over and over again. Not that it is an ingredient you have in 3 to 5 months maybe a hard time getting, especially now with a shortage on many ingredients. You want to make sure that you can purchase the ingredients continuously to use them in your product. So that is step number 3, and I have my notes here. Step number 4 would be to decide on my launch date. And I mentioned before, for a small product, it takes me around 4 weeks from conception, when I create or had the idea of the product, to launching it. And I give myself enough time because there is a lot of error involved in between, right? You don't get the ingredients, they don't arrive in time, it's not the right ingredients, you didn't get the right labels, your printer cartridges ran out. There are a lot of tiny steps where basically the product launch date will be moved out by more than you want it to be. So if you say, oh, I'm going to launch this product this week, it's most likely not going to be a good launch. But 4 weeks for me, for a smallish product, like one item, seems like a really good turnaround time. So I set my launch dates, and then I also make sure that I create somewhat of a work back schedule. So here's why Sylvia likes it. I love experimenting with different flavors and different waxes. And yeah, I can see that, especially for the lip balms, you can use all kinds of different products, right? So I definitely can see that you like to create them and play around. But if I would need to create lip balms in a big order, like over and over again, I think I would shoot myself. I could not do it. So yes, so okay, let's just repeat. Step number 1 is definitely make sure your customer that you have a market for your product. Number 2 is that you like creating the product over and over again. That's important. Number 3, I resource my raw materials, the prices. I put them into Blend Precisely. I price them out. I check for the safety information. I play around with the numbers if I had enough of a profit margin. And I will just make sure that all products will be at all times available, that it's not hard to come by products. So I like doing that. Step number 4 is the launch date. So creating a launch date is important for me just because I need to have time and a work back schedule on how to launch my product. I don't just want to go it out half-ass. I mean, it's expensive to create products. B, I love creating products. The process of creating a new product for me is really beautiful. Um, and I like to give it time because I'm testing the product in those 4 weeks or up to 3 months as well. I'm not just going to send it out on the market. I want people to test it before I go out on the market. So I choose a day. You can choose something like Mother's Day, Christmas, maybe you have Halloween, maybe have the school launch date, whatever it is. There will be times where it's maybe good to launch certain products. And if you have a gift kit, for example, you might consider that maybe it's a mother's gift kit and you need to put several products together. So you probably want to start out in February for it to launch in April, or in January for it to launch in April. The same for Christmas. I start thinking about my Christmas products in June, July. So I have enough time to actually create something solid. So that is number 4, deciding your launch date. You really want to make sure that you have enough time. So number 5 is basically the beta testers. So I create the product, I give it to 5 to 10 testers. Now, I do not like to give it to anyone. I like to give it to the ones where I think the product will be looked at in the right way because it's my right audience. If you don't have that, I can also suggest to just go on into your Facebook group or on Instagram and say, something is coming up. I need 5 to 10 testers. Please DM me or private message me or send me an email if you would like to be part of that. I hate getting products out into the market without being tested by someone else. That is just me. You might be different, but I like to get this done in step number 5. So I'm distributing it to some beta testers, my products. I'm sending it off to my mom, maybe if it's the right product, or to a friend, depending whom I think of. If you're in your very early stages, you might not have a client list or not enough clients to actually tap into. So that's when basically your friends and family will be part of it, or maybe another aromatherapist. So that is step number 5, beta test the heck out of your products. Then step number 6 is get a testimonial, get a review, get a testimonial you can use during your launch. Make sure that you get some kind of a review. A, you did give a product away for free. B, you're hoping that they give you a review or testimonial because they liked it. If they don't, then they probably will not fill out the testimonial or review, and that's okay. If they did, but they have something to say, it's like, I might change maybe the rosehip oil for a different oil, or I didn't like the smell or aroma of this one, and so on. That's great. So create a new product, send it out again, and then get a testimonial. But make sure you actually get from these 5 to 10 testers a review or testimonial in you can use for your product launch, because we have to start, all of us have to start somewhere with a new product. If it is a new business, a new product, a new idea, you need to be able to test it. You need to be able to get feedback. You need to be able to take the feedback and repurpose it in a way that you make the product either better or it's perfect, and then you can use it on your social media as well as in your emails. So number 6, getting your testimonials. Number 7 is basically creating candid shots. So now we are, I think, more or less 2 weeks before launch, maybe. You want to create, and I said you want to create some fear of missing out type of posts, fear of, not fear, I don't like FOMO so much, fear of missing out, or this other syndrome, what are they called? The I forgot about that one. Anyway, so anything which will create some excitement around your product. Let's put it this way, not FOMO, fear of missing out, but excitement. You are excited to launch a new product. So share it. Share it with your customers. Share it with the people who are actually purchasing from you. If you're new in the market, that's totally fine. Share it with your family, share it with your friends, share it with people. It makes it a solid thing. So you're launching a product, you told someone, and you got to do this. And then also for people, if you have existing customers already, you can create these coming soon in the pipeline, new product launch, anything like this 2 weeks before you actually launch your product. So that is candid shots like, maybe while you're stirring the cream, maybe while you're dripping or dropping, measuring the essential oils into your bottle, maybe when you're actually preparing it to send off. And those shots don't need to be perfect at all. You can make a reel, you can put it onto a story on Instagram. It takes around 24 hours on the story and then it goes away. So it does not need to be perfect at all. So step number 7 is definitely creating some candid shots, posting them. So if you post 3 times a week to Instagram or to Facebook, make sure one of the posts is going to be a sneak peek into the new product. If you're doing a digital product or if you're doing a physical product, it doesn't matter. Just keep them informed. People like to be included. And I think this is especially in these days where everything is on the computer, everything is with distance, everything is with masks, or used to be. We want to somehow include our tribe. And I think it's a beautiful thing to actually include them in your newsletter, in your social media posts. Ask them a question. What should be my new product name? Any of this. So, step number 7, 2 weeks before launch, make sure you start including your people, letting them know that something is coming. So, they actually know that they can be excited about something, what you're going to bring out, and you share your excitement at the same time. And then I would say, like a week before, let me just see that I didn't skip. Like a week before, I would make sure that I write the product description. If you have a sales page, a landing page, an e-commerce store, you want to write your product description and shoot your photographs. So I am, I cannot even tell that enough, but for me, photographs are one of the most important things. Using a good camera, using a software, editing software, everything is out there. You can get it for fairly cheap. It's maybe a small investment, get it secondhand, I don't know. But if you're trying to make it in this world right now, which is completely competitive, and there are a lot of products out there, you can only differentiate with good product photography, having an e-commerce site, maybe being on Etsy and Facebook as well, and having great product descriptions that are actually compelling. So your customer stops because they saw an amazing photograph of your product, or they have read the headline and it says like it will change your life basically. But I mean, obviously don't don't promise something if it's not true. I'm not a big fan of that, but observe yourself. That's a little hint just for yourself. If you were to go out and purchase a product which has a higher price tag, how do you react? How do you go about things? Would you go to a blurry, wishy-washy photograph, or would you stop at a photograph that is sharp and light and maybe with some flowers or some arrangements? So observe yourself what you're drawn to and then try to replicate that in your own products. I think there's nothing more important than creating in today's days, if we have everything online, than creating a really, really good online appearance, meaning amazing photographs, 3 to 5. You have one great shot. This is like your master shot of the product, and then some detailed shots, maybe, a little bit on your hand, maybe the product like pouring out, maybe, I don't know, if it's with a child, maybe you have a child holding the roller ball or something. So I think 3 to 5 photographs with amazing lighting, really good. If you have the money, invest into a professional photographer for your product shots, but mostly we don't. but then take a course about product photography or a workshop. It's that important, I think. It's really important. The same with the description of your product. The customers are buying based on what they see and read. That's it. They don't have necessarily the ability to talk to you. And if you're on a farmer's market or art or crafts market, even better. Perfect, because you can communicate to the people. Um, you get to read their personality, you get to read how they interact with the product and so on. But we don't have that if we're selling online. So product shots must be A plus, and the same with the description. So 1 week before I go live with my product, I work on the sales page, I work on the description of my product, I work on my photographs. I take at least 1 to 2 days for product photography. I always set up a whole thing. And I edit them at the same time during these days, because it's a lot of work setting up a really good product shoot environment. You want to have it clean. You want to have all products ready to go. They need to have the labels on and so on. So I take probably 2 days, depending. If it is one product only, it's a day. But if it's multiple products or a kit, then it's going to be 2 days for sure. Yeah, you have to think about that we are selling a luxury item. It's not, that we go and need to buy some milk and we don't care about it. How the milk on the picture in the newspaper is blurry. I don't care about that. I need the milk. But if I'm selling a product that has an effect to the people, that it's a luxury product more, and they have to spend some more money, I need to put more time into creating the photographs and creating the product description. Really important, I think. Let's see. Sylvia is asking, would it be okay to give your beta testers a feedback form and ask them to make comments as they use the product? Absolutely. I think that is a great idea. I really think you can actually guide your testers through the process on how to use the product. I think it's brilliant, Sylvia. If you tell them, for example, it would be really nice once they open up, what is your experience? Step number 2, once you have used it after 3 days, what was your experience? Don't make it obviously too complicated that they feel like, oh my God, I need to spend 30 minutes on just describing and putting a testimonial together. You can also, I love that question, Sylvia. You can also give them a feedback form and then afterwards create a testimonial out of it, send it back to them and ask them, is it okay if I write this? Would you give your okay for me to use that testimonial based on the feedback I've gotten? Really good. Absolutely. Especially if you have therapeutic products, right? You want to know. It's a little bit like our research, not research papers, but our client taken forms we do when we have our aromatherapy certification for these different people we are actually using. You want to have something like a follow-up and make it easy for them. Use and send a reminder. Maybe you want to send a comment section based on when you need it. So in the beginning, hey, have you received the product? How did it feel unwrapping the product? Did you like it? I will send you another question in 3 days from now, and then just send them another one, and then create the testimonial, send it through, ask them if you can use it, get the okay, and use it. Yeah, absolutely. Love that question. Thank you, Sylvia. Yeah. So step number 9. Step number 8 was 1 week before the launch. You want to make sure that you create a really good product description and you're really taking some amazing photographs or product photos. So step number 9, and I was talking about that, in order to drive more sales, what can you do? This is my habit app. Sorry, I have to drink more water. I have a habit app. I have to just one sip. Let me just drink one sip. I had a coffee before and then it gets dry in my mouth. So step number 9, how can you create enough excitement around your product in order to drive more sales? So what you could do is, and I love doing that, creating limited editions. because there are two positive things with that. A, you don't need to buy so much raw material. So you literally create a limited edition, maybe of 25, 50, 100 pieces, depending how many customers you have. And then you take it off the market, and then afterwards you can make a few changes and bring it back to the market if it was a really well working product. So that is something I like to do when I start out with something. So you're really new, you create a limited edition product. It gives it some kind of exclusivity, I think, to have limited editions, or maybe only available for Mother's Day. Maybe it's an exclusive sale you do only once a year because, I don't know, because calendula is blooming and you're infusing it. So it's a once a year product. So you have like a cycling 1 year product announcement. We are back with the product. Something like this. So you can drive more sales by actually creating some kind of scarcity or exclusivity. And you can also ask them, you get 25% off if you pre-order. I have seen that more and more because in a small business, we are not able to necessarily spend a huge amount of money. So what you want to do maybe is offer a 25% off or 20%, whatever, some kind of an offer if they actually reserve their product or pre-purchase the product. And that will create sales, it will drive sales, and it will keep your investment low, and it will create some kind of FOMO. So there's the word again, fear of missing out. But it might work. So you could try it out. Always try something new out and see how it works. Obviously, stick to what you have said. So if you have only 50 products available, only sell those 50 products and bring them back in a different version, or bring them back with a different scent, or bring them back next year. So I would not create some kind of limited edition if I don't truly stick to my limited edition. So I am that's not me. I don't like to fool people. So that's that. And then 2 to 3 days before you actually launch your product, you want to make sure that you now start actually posting your formal sneak peek pictures, meaning use your professional photographs you have taken, use a bit of the description you have been using, and post a few more times 2 to 3 days before the launch. Make sure you write to your email list if you have one. If not, you should be building it. You make sure you actually talk about it a little bit more 2 to 3 days before. And then on launch date, and that is step number 11, the final step, on your launch date, go live when you said you would go live with your product. Launch it on that date. Also make sure, maybe you can even mention a time when you launch it, so you go live with your product on that date. Maybe you can send a newsletter out or an announcement, a product announcement on that date at that time for your new product. So make sure you definitely talk about it on the day, launch it on the day you said, and make sure you put all your professional photographs and product descriptions in it so that you can actually sell your product. So as you can see, creating actually already intermittent in your marketing strategy or in your marketing funnel, you want to create intermittent posts and announcements and already get the people going. So I think what happens if you would not do that, people will see a post on the day you launch once, and that's it. So all the work you have done for 4 weeks, for 3 months, for 6 months is gone out the window in that moment. I mean, I we think as like, oh, we don't want to overwhelm our audience, and we don't want to basically stuff them with all our new product information posts and whatnot. But you're not doing that if you launch on, if you post on Instagram, if you post on Facebook. Only a tiny small percentage of people will actually see your post. If you post to 600 friends, only 20 people will see that post. because it's going through like crazy and Facebook is pushing it as it wants. And if you get 100 likes, then it will push it to the top of the list. Maybe some people will never see your post. So don't be shy on in your head bombarding the audience with your product launch while they are not going to feel like this, because social media is rotating all the time. So I would definitely try a few different strategies. That's my strategy. That's my 11-step strategy on how to launch a product. As I said, I was very different 10 years ago, 12 years ago when I launched my product. I had a lot of products. I did not have time to do marketing. I did not have time to do sales, really. I was just always running to produce more products. I was trying to figure out how to get money to create my products and all of that. But that's not working, because we will run out of money very quickly. And if we don't sell, then we cannot reinvest into our business. So it becomes it just becomes a sad devil's circle, because you spend all the money, you spend your money on the course, you spend your money on creating the product, purchasing the raw ingredients, you spend your money on software, you spend your money on um, marketing and sales a tiny little bit. Maybe not at all, actually, in the beginning. You spend your money maybe on farmers markets. So somewhere this cycle needs to come back and actually get the money back in. So talk about your product, talk about your business. I mean, people do it all the time. All the big companies do it all the time. And the worst what they're doing now is that they have salespeople from India and all over the place calling your phone. So we are not doing that. What we are trying to do is direct our sales towards the people who might be interested and want what we are selling. And we are trying to make sure in the very beginning, step number one is that we create a product people actually want to buy. And you do not then sell something nobody wants. What a wasted energy, completely wasted money and energy. So rather go 1 to 3 products when you start out than 10, 15, 20 products. But make sure that those 3 products are really well taken care of. They had great shots, they have great description, they are distributed throughout all your channels. You're talking about them over and over again because people like to hear you talk. And you're creating some FOMO around it. Limited editions, only on Mother's Days, Christmas, whatever is needed. All right. That's it, my lovely, lovely aromatherapist friends. So this one is actually the 11 steps I did post. Let me just give you, if you go to academy.blendprecisely.io to the blog, you can get the 11 steps to product launch right there. If I was going too fast, maybe you can obviously go back and watch it again. Other than this, I really hope you enjoyed this one. This one is close and dear to my heart because I'm doing this on a daily basis, more now with digital products than with physical products. But the principle is the same. No matter what you launch, you gotta be out there. You need to inform your people. You need to include your people. You need to ask your people, um, because we really, really have somewhat of a luxury item. Luxury item. We do not sell potatoes. We do not sell coffee. We do not, well, coffee is a luxury item at this point. We don't sell milk. We sell aromatherapy. So put the right price tag on and do the right amount of marketing around it, and you will be able to sell. I believe that. All right. Thank you for watching, everyone. And I will see you back hopefully next week. There might be a break next week because I need to travel to Berlin the next day. So there might be no live next week, but I'm trying my best actually to do that. If not, I will see you. I will announce the next live for sure. So I wish you all a wonderful Wednesday afternoon, and I will talk to you very, very soon. Thanks for being part. Great question, Sylvia. Loved it. And yeah, I will see you soon. Bye, everyone. Ciao, ciao.